sir. How are you doing? I'm doing very well. What brings you out?
A lot of you may know me, some of you may not know me. I'm Tom. I'm with a show called Fired Up Garage. Hello everybody. I'm Tom Smith, car expert and ASC certified master mechanic. In the world of custom cars and television lights, there was a mechanic who once made audiences laugh out loud with rare wit and skill. I was framed, but when the show reached its peak, he suddenly disappeared, leaving a trail of rumors and unanswered questions. Let us retrace the journey of Tom Smith from Misfits Garage to the silent days that made the car community stop and think. Born in Ohio and raised in Georgia, Tom Smith stepped into mechanics in the most natural way, not through school, but through the hands and instincts of someone who truly loves machines. Since his teenage years, he spent most of his time in his uncle's junkyard, taking apart old cars to learn how they worked. While many kids dreamed of being pilots or athletes, Tom only liked the smell of oil and the roar of engines in the shop. Those afternoons laid the foundation for the craft that would later make him known across America. Through skills honed over decades of hands-on work, Tom gradually became a mechanic with Ford Master Mechanic credentials and ASSE, certified, a designation for people with high craftsmanship and deep understanding of engines, drivetrains, and automotive electronics. He did not see car repair as labor, but as the art of restoring a metal soul. His meticulousness, the way he spoke with customers, and his care for every small detail, all showed the pride of a craftsman who knows the true value of work. After many years as a freelancer, Tom moved to Texas, the land of garages and a vibrant classic car culture. There he met Richard Rawlings, owner of Gas Monkey Garage, who was preparing to partner with Discovery to produce a reality show called Fast and Loud. The idea was simple. Buy old cars, restore them quickly, then sell for profit. One of two things is going to happen. Somebody's going to buy them just like they are, and they're going to go have them restored, or they're going to buy them and pay me to restore them. To draw viewers, they needed strong personalities who could both do the work and create unexpected moments. And Tom Smith, with a cheerful, forthright style and bar banter delivery, immediately became a perfect choice. Right from the first episodes, Tom stood out. He cracked jokes and hummed while holding a wrench, creating contrast in a tense environment. I'm feeling very confident, let her rip. Tater Chip, ready, viewers called him the mechanic who tells stories because each car that passed through his hands carried a joke or a blunt remark that triggered laughter. Beneath the humor was real ability. He handled drivability, the vehicle's operating systems and performance, a complex stage that demands combat experience. Projects like reviving Mustangs, Dodges, or classic Chevys all bore Tom's mark through smooth tuning and the ability to finish in short timelines. The mix of skill and personality quickly won over audiences. In a show where drama is staged for tension, he appeared natural, sometimes clumsy, but real. Many fans watched Fast and Loud, not just for the cars, but to hear Tom joke in the heat of stress. In viewers' eyes, he was a rare image of the blue-collar mechanic inside an industrial television show. That very sincerity gradually became a seed of conflict. As the show grew popular, production pressure intensified. Everything was filmed on a dense schedule and spontaneous moments were replaced by scripts. Tom began to see the line between doing the trade and doing the show blur. He once told a reporter he did not want to play a role only to work the way a real mechanic does in the television world that was sometimes seen as uncooperative. In 2014, tensions between Tom and Richard Rawlings flared. The recorded reason was allowing a fan to take a photo with Rawlings' Rolls-Royce without permission and former employee of Gas Monkey Garage until Richard fired me. I do appreciate you being here for the time. The best thing that happened to me is getting fired by that guy. I mean, I'm happier. I'm calmer. According to many internal sources, the incident was just the last straw. After a long chain of disputes, Tom felt constrained in his expression. While Rawlings wanted to control the team's entire image, the result, Tom and colleague Jordan Butler were fired. It was a major turning point, both a shock and an opportunity. Many in the shop were regretful and viewers reacted strongly to losing a favorite figure. Instead of retreating, Tom opted for a gentle counter-punch. He founded Fired Up Garage, a name that means enthusiasm and plays on foo, a playful jab at Theone who let him go. With butler Thomas Weeks and Scott McMillan, he launched a new project, Misfits Garage. When Misfits Garage premiered on Discovery Channel in October 2014, audiences embraced it warmly. They saw in Tom the image of a craftsman expelled from the system who still stood up with his own hands. Without Gas Monkey's Polish Misfits Garage was smaller and had more flaws, but it felt more soulful. Tom became the heart of the show, the one who made people laugh and stirred empathy. Misfits Garage's projects bore his clear imprint, restoring a 1957 Corvette, redoing a 1968 AMC AMX, or turning a 1927 Ford Model T into a modern hot rod. Each build carried the Texas mechanic-style little theory and a lot of practical experience. The show drew steady viewership by season, helping Tom's name spread in the car enthusiast community. As the television lights blazed, Tom realized fame could be a trap that gradually took away professional freedom. Professional tragedy. At first, Tom believed Misfits Garage would differ from Fast and Loud, a place where real mechanics could work freely without being forced into a scripted image. But when Discovery invested in the show, new producers turned the shop into a stage. Every episode was planned with conflict breakdowns and fake tension to keep viewers hooked. Tom didn't reject storytelling, but he opposed distortion. He once said, "No one wants to be turned into a joke for being themselves." That summed up the clash between craftsmanship and television. A worker seeking authenticity versus a crew chasing ratings, filming pressure rose. Technical workflow gave way to the shooting schedule. Tom and the team often had toastage faults or arguments to create tension, and lines were edited into conflict. Scott grew frustrated. A quarrel scene was stretched, leading viewers to misunderstand and the team's trust to crack. One of the moments that clearly showed Tom's tragedy was the accident with the AMC Gremlin. While test driving for a scene, he lost control and the car slid into a lake. He was uninjured and Tom still showed disappointment when the crew used it as a humorous bit. He told a reporter bluntly, "To me that was a professional error, not a joke." It was the moment a craftsman realized he was no longer respected as a professional, only as a TV character. Contractual requirements also choked Tom's sense of freedom. Every time he wanted to do a personal project, he had to ask Discovery for permission out of fear of content conflicts. Tom's personal activities also had to follow contract terms, making it hard for him to share freely as before. From a free mechanic, he became a worker bound to image rights, a common constraint in American reality television. For someone like Tom, that felt like losing professional freedom. During many shoots, he deliberately added ad-lib lines and small unscripted actions just to feel like himself. Most were cut in post. A colleague once said, Tom tried to crack jokes in tense moments, but when aired, only the scenes of him being scolded remained. This kind of edited image made him increasingly disheartened. The climax came in Season 3 when the show leaned more into internal disputes to boost appeal. Some arguments between Tom and Butler were edited with emphasis, making viewers feel the conflict was larger than it really was. They were minor misunderstandings, and once on air the segment had tense music and was cut into a major clash. Audiences took sides, social networks filled with comments calling Tom arrogant and hard to work with. For a craftsman who values honor, that was a direct blow to pride. After Season 4, many members left the show. Scott McMillan was the first to depart, saying that the drama follows even when the cameras stop. Tom stayed 2 more seasons trying to keep the original Misfits spirit alive. Producer intervention deepened until Hennerly lost control. Instead of focusing in technique and craftsmanship, episodes were steered by scripted conflicts, auctions, or saving the shop's reputation arcs. For viewers, Misfits Garage remained entertaining. And for Tom, it became a string of contradictions. He summed up, "We started with passion and ended with contracts." The sentence reflected a tradesman's disillusionment when everything around him turned into a commercial product. Behind the scenes, Tom also faced financial pressure. Even with a popular show, the actual pay-per episode was not high. Compensation was split by collective contract, while filming stretched for months. He often had to take on side projects to cover shop costs, something producers did not welcome. Tension rose from there. The last months of Misfit Garage lacked Theory Day spirit. Every time the cameras stopped, Tom quietly left the shop early, avoided interviews, and limited interactions. To the crew, he was difficult. Those who had worked with him understood it was his way of protecting what remained of professional faith. When season 6 closed, Tom did not announce a departure and did not say goodbye. He simply walked away. No press release, no quarrel. For some, it was the end of a show. For him, it was the price of keeping principles. When the television glow faded, what remained for Tom was not fame or fans, but the feeling of being stripped of his craft and identity, the very things he once believed he was born to hold. Quiet after the lights. When Misfit Garage ended in 2018, many thought it was only a pause before Tom Smith's team returned. But the show never resumed. The man who once brought laughter and embodied the working-class mechanic faded from the screen. Silence marked a new phase. Isolation, fatigue, and self-reflection. After filming stopped, Fired Up Garage continued at a smaller scale. Without TV budgets or crews, Tom ran a true independent shop, fixing cars, painting, and maintaining equipment himself. A few short clips from friends showed the same calm manner, patient, slow, unhurried. The energy of TV days was gone, replaced by quiet perseverance. His last major public appearance came at Toronto Motorama 2019. As an honored guest, he met fans, took photos, and told a few stories. Compared with the boisterous TV personality, he was quieter, smiling when asked about the show. It was a great ride. After that, he virtually vanished. No more interviews or updates. Rumors about health and money appeared, but nothing was confirmed. He simply chose silence. Tom still lived in Texas with his longtime wife, Deanna. They valued privacy and peace over publicity. In a rare 2019 interview, he said, "Only Deanna and I have met many wonderful people through this journey. That's what makes me happiest." Fame was irrelevant, connection was what mattered. Years of hard labor took their toll. Friends said suffered joint pain and back problems, sometimes pausing work for treatment. Local car groups noted that they often came to the shop just to guide younger mechanics. Though physically slower, his optimism stayed intact. Hefton ended chats with his signature line, "Keep the fire in your heart." Once a joke, it became a creed, the will to endure when the lights fade. Tom's story held no scandal, only quiet loss. His tragedy lay not in disgrace but in being left behind while the world moved on. When Misfit Garage ended, there was no farewell, no final thank you. Colleagues drifted apart and viewers forgot. For Tom, the show's cancellation felt like falling into emptiness. Yet, he never complained. He never blamed producers or networks. He seemed to accept that television has cycles. While the mourned was not fame, but the authenticity of real craftsmanship, the passion lost when work becomes entertainment. At a small 2020 car meet, someone asked if he'd ever return. Hesmuld. "I'm still here, just not in front of the camera." That attitude earned deep respect. Many saw him as proof that dignity means knowing when to step away. To outsiders, retirement looked like failure. To Tom, it was survival, preserving his peace. When engines around him fell silent, what remained was serenity mixed with faint regret, the kind known only to those who have stood once in the spotlight and then chosen the quiet beyond it. Legacy and remaining values. Tom's legacy rests less on a car count than on a way of working. In an era when reality TV often scripts blue-collar lives, he kept the identity of real labor. Fans coined affectionate Temenikers. Tom, the real deal, the true misfit, the true soul of the garage, not because he was flawless, but because he refused to pretend. He let the work show seams and fingerprints. And that honesty read his character. On American classic car forums, Misfit Garage threads almost always pivot to Tom. Viewers say the shop felt more authentic when he was there, the builds more lived in, the jokes less canned. Rewatchers notice how a throwaway quip could soften a tense tear down or a stubborn